an amazing week. Just a 10-year, $5 billion Netflix deal. Rock joining our board. We just sold out the Royal Rumble with 48,000 people in a track can field. I choose to focus on the positive. And yes, there's a negative, but I want to focus on that and just keep it to that.
All right, so that answer is kind of why I thought there'd be no chance that they would have a press conference after the Royal Rumble. And I'm actually a little surprised that he was not more ready for questions or any sort of line of questioning around the dismissal of Vince McMahon based on the allegations that were made last week that Vince not only sexually assaulted someone, but also was involved in sex trafficking of that individual. So I guess we start here. What is your reaction to Hunter's comments on Vince McMahon? Because to me, it seemed like he missed the entire point of, to me, what the lawsuit represents as we continue to learn more and more about the lawsuit.
We've covered plenty of, sport, like legal situations in sports, and the no comment, yes, it goes a long way. We read into it, but that's usually the right approach. Triple H's going to, oh no, we're going to focus on the positive, or oh yeah, I haven't read the lawsuit. It felt so tone deaf being in that room and just listening to him double down, like, no, we're focused on this, Netflix and the Trop and the Rock. That's what we're focused on. There are victims here. Like, it was so weird to hear that and be there in person.
I get, by the way, I get wanting to focus on that. I get that. But then to just dismiss it as, well, there is a negative. Like, no, this isn't like the stock went down a point or two, man. Like, this is more serious. And again, as more people are coming forward with the lawyer for the lawsuit representing the plaintiff in this case, saying, hey, there are plenty of people coming out because this is a cultural issue at WWE that they're looking to eradicate. This went beyond, Vince McMahon was the main perpetrator. But again, if you study this lawsuit, they state that this is a cultural issue within WWE. And one of those questions was, hey, what are you guys doing in order to make sure something like this doesn't happen again? And he gives the generic, everything answer. But it just seemed like he was wholly unprepared for it, which I don't know if he was, everybody's going to be so jazzed up. Everyone's going to forget about that. No, man, this is the first time anybody from TKO publicly spoke about this issue. You are getting questions.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say is that usually the WWE does this right when it comes from a PR standpoint. They try to be able to accentuate the positives as much as possible. So they usually get this right. For once they got this wrong, and this is how it should have gone, Triple H should have been able to have a statement first about what's going on with the WWE, what's going on with Vince McMahon. You have a statement, you give your quote in that statement and say, I can't take any questions about it because it's an ongoing legal issue that's going on with Vince McMahon, even though Vince is not part of the company. He was the chairman of the board at one point. The authorities and those that are involved in this are still working on it. Obviously, we have prayers, thoughts and prayers, whatever they say for the victim, but we have to talk about the Royal Rumble. I can't take any questions about it because of what's going on. It just seems as if the WWE was flat-footed, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I knew this was going to happen. It's amazing to me that Cody Rhodes was the adult in the room and didn't know that question was coming, but already knew what the answer was. Cody has a way of being able to answer your question and then navigate to something else. You're in the room.
Yeah.
Think about it. Out of everybody else that was in there, you saw Cody Rhodes answer the question as if he was the CEO. Well, he knows about being front-facing for an organization like he did in AEW, so his answer did not surprise me.
Yeah, because Cody's smart enough to know the question's coming. So I guarantee once he knew he was going to that, any one of these people, whatever sport you're watching, like if you're watching your favorite football team's press conference, like their PR team goes over there with their head coach, like, hey, here are some questions you might get asked. So they're not caught flat-footed. I don't know if WWE has that PR team, but I know because of Cody's experience as being that front-facing person, in his mind, he's like, okay, if I get asked this question, here's how I have to handle it. Whereas with Triple H, it didn't seem like that thought crossed his mind.
And this was 2 days in advance. We found out the lawsuit Thursday. This wasn't like, hey, something's circulating on Twitter. We might need to, answer this. Comparing to AEW, Tony Khan answered questions about Jericho last time out. He wore a stupid hat. He was dressed up by Tony Storm during it. But he answered a question and knew that was coming. And that was all Twitter innuendo. Like, there was no actual lawsuit there. The fact that they were caught off guard by this was just baffling.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Hood. Like, when he sat down and he had that piece of paper in his hand, I thought for sure he had some sort of prepared statement on there. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then he just completely ignored it all.